Hello, my name's Chris, this is Blue Kraken Gaming, and welcome back to Satisfactory, where, if you are enjoying the series, I would ask that you please consider leaving a like, a comment, or a subscription. Any or all help the channel grow, and they help get it out in front of other people, so thank you very much to those of you that do that. Now, in our last episode, we were continuing to get our bauxite overflow system set up, so that we can increase our aluminium production. Now, we today are going to be carrying on with that. And even though it was 30 seconds ago for me, I couldn't remember how much they did. So that's 360, which means we want to come around here. We want blueprints. I think we've got a manifold for this already set up somewhere. Aluminium foundries. Oh, yes, there we go. Ah, it's... okay. Oh, no, that's foundries. Oh. What recipe is that using? Well, that is the one that uses silica. Yeah, I don't want to be touching that at all. So no, that's not what we want. I think we've got aluminium smelters. That's the one we want. Okay, so if these are going to feed in like that, we can put one set here. Now, from memory, so they're doing 60 scrap a minute. So if we go 60 times 6, that balances out perfectly. So one of these handles that exactly. Okay. So we just need to power it from somewhere. Like that one. Awesome. We can then feed that in like that. Pop that down like that. Feed this up here. And make that straight. Cool. There we go. That's now going to start making aluminium. Now, we need to set this up. Upgrade that. Cool, so there's a ton of ingots. Now what we can do is if we can feed them and thread them back up here, we can add them to this line here. Which means, I think... what I want to do is probably take this down for a second. I'm going to want to put a merger there, like that. Not the foundation, the conveyor belt. Put that back in there. And now we put that back in on that merger. Oh, no. No, 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 no. That looked bad there on that being straight. Default, how does that look? What if we go straight this way round? Yes. That's better. Cool, so that's going to flood that back in there, and then what we can do is we can try and thread along the wall here, actually. Oh, actually, we are going to have to go up to go over the lift. And then I think we take this panel out. We get a 3 conveyor wall there, which we're then going to, you know, paint appropriately. And that is too tight a turn. There we go. Default works. Okay. Cool. And then if we come around here, try and bring that up as much as we can. Alright, I'm just trying to line it up, see if I've got it at the right height. This is going to be really awkward. Right. You can't make it that far. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Means you're going to need a roof to make it over there, aren't you? If we bring you into here and then into that one. Nice. Okay. Ah, because that's again filled up with water. We need to deal with the water. I really wish there was like a water outlet you could just throw water out of. Okay. Now then, here's where we get awkward. So, if we try and deal that, this uses 200 in and spits out 120, which means we need 80, 160, and this takes in 130, puts out 78. So what is 130 minus 78, bracket that, plus 60, it's 112, okay. Which means we're going to come over here, and I know we're way overdone for this, but we're going to put a valve there, and limit this to 112. We're then going to come around here, we're going to go, bum 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 bum, fluid buffer. And we're going to try and deal with it this way. I've tried to do this before and it didn't work. But effectively what we do with this is we recycle the water. So the output becomes part of the input. But it's much harder seeing as you can't actually put like a priority flow on or a priority merger with water. Now yeah, we need that drain rate to hopefully balance out, but this is where it becomes a challenge. Right, okay. We also then want to set up 2 more of these. To handle those last 2 smelters. Right, okay. And if we cancel that, we put the power into that one, and then that into that one. That will settle that back up. We can then put our conveyor hole here. And just try and replicate the whole thing again. Okay, now this line's not actually super full. So what I'm actually tempted to do is grab this and feed it in there. Okay. So that's that bit done. We then need to come here. And then we need to feed this up. Like that. And you go in there like that. How's this water looking? I mean, there is actually water in there. It's draining. Okay. The balance is making sure that you don't add more water into the system than you actually need. But you need to keep it at spot on, because otherwise it slows down. Why have you stopped? Yeah, I didn't understand why that one had stopped then, because it had water. It had Ah, the alumina solution, because you are struggling to get your water? Yeah, that's the thing. I suppose at the moment you're allowing 113.4. Yeah, because this isn't exactly super full right now. So I think we turn that up well, basically let that have its fill so that these guys can keep going, because I don't want these to stop. Right, you're trying to empty your aluminium scrap. That's fine. That's okay, because that is working at full speed. Why has this stopped? This has stopped probably because those guys down here are completely, yeah, backed up. That's what we expected. And that's actually what we want, because then we can whack this up and see just how far we can push them. Right. That is way more than we should be able to cope with. Like, actually, I don't know our Mark V line can handle that much. 780. I'm doing 225, so that's 450. 675. Yeah, that's already more than a Mark V belt can handle. But hey, we'll see what it does. Because, you know, worst comes to worst, we could probably try and inject it halfway through as well. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I do think we maybe try and move this priority merger up. Because these guys are not keeping up at all. Which means from right... Well, yeah, actually, yeah, we need to move that priority merger because it's not making all the way to the end. So let's put it here. That's high and low, yeah. And then we're going to put a splitter there. There you go. Right, throw more in at halfway along. Right, so that's going to let that flow a lot more freely. Okay, I mean, that line is at least actually running full speed now by the looks. Okay, and now how much are we outputting? 618, that's good. That's good. Cool. Now the only problem with a closed loop system like we've got with the water back there is it can, if that buffer fills, the whole thing grinds to a halt until someone comes and empties the buffer. It's not like, wow, you're telling me you're not getting enough. What do you... So you need 225, and what belt do you have? Mark 3. Mark 3 should handle 225. Oh, because you can't get it out. You're full. Yeah, that'll do it. Let's just make sure they can all flood that. Cool, okay. I mean, that certainly seems to be helping. It's already a Mark V belt, so we can't make that any faster. We got, what, 150 times 6. That's 900, so that is actually more than a Mark V belt can handle. Okay. Well, what that means is you're a merger. We need to then put a splitter halfway along. And start feeding that in there as well to help really get it out. Cool, so that gives us a solid 780 then, which is way more than we had before. It does mean that's all going there. When that does back up, that's gonna... Okay, so that's now died down. Okay. Not completely keeping up yet then, that's fine. So we will put our third one down. Like so. Feed that into there. And then we're going to go... Whoa! Got that wrong. Right. Okay. Feeding all that round again. And again, we're going to feed that in there. And this one is going to come up here. And you're going to go in there. Right, that's going to let that hopefully start flowing. How is this water... Right, okay, that's what I was worried about. That needs to get flushed. Because we do not need it that full. Right, okay, now I'm thinking we come over here and we set that to, what was it, 112. Which will shut that down and let that start draining out. So we need to see that basically try and stabilise. That's what we need to see. Because we just need it to feed in just a little bit more water than it's... So looking at that net swinging backwards and forwards, that's fine. That's what we need to see, is it pulses and bits and pieces like that. Slightly concerned by that negative staying negative as long as it has. Okay, we had a slight positive there, but it needs to swing back to positive way more than... Oh, there we go. There's a big positive net. Okay. Alright, we'll see how that goes. But that definitely seems to be trying to get that out. We've not saturated that line with bars, that's fine. And these guys are not working at 100%, which again I think is fine. What are we bringing in? 690. Okay. I mean that's pretty decent. So 690. That's still coming in. Okay, so we're net loss at the minute. Right, so I think we can definitely take some of these out. Okay. So what are we actually making? We're making 690 plus 450. So 690 plus 450. 1140. Okay. So 1140 divided by 150 is 7.6. No, not 150, that's the output, it's 225. 225. So that's only we can run 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at full speed. So I think we take that down, put that one back, put that one back. Okay. So we run 5 of these at full speed, and the last one is at 6%. So you're going to run, I'm going to put you at 7% just to make sure that you clear it out. So that should then handle all of it with the manifold getting itself sorted out. Okay. Cool. I mean, that claims we're getting 780. I don't think we are. I mean, to be fair, that is filling on 2 lines, isn't it? It's going to drop out in a minute. We're still apparently using all of it. I'm not sure I believe that. But what I think that's doing is probably just filling up at the other end, because we probably had a lower... Oh, there's our first few gaps on the line. But either way, we've still easily doubled our production there, which is good, because that's hopefully going to start filling things out a bit more once everything else gets sorted out on the other side. Where are you? What are you? Oh, you must be carrying fuel or something going down there. Cool. Okay. And then, like I say, it's just going to be that fluid buffer that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Make sure it doesn't get overfilled or emptied. That looks slightly emptied at the moment. Did I do my maths right? Because that looks short on water. Okay. It's 200 plus 200 plus 130. So we've got 200, right. 200 plus 200 plus 130 minus, and this will be what we got coming off the other end, 78 plus 120 and 120. Okay. Oh, that's 212. Okay, well that'll be why it's short then. So that needs to be set to 212. Right, okay. So hopefully that's going to keep it full of water a bit more now. Okay. And that's looking more promising. That is still pretty full. I mean, that's the thing. I don't need it super full. I just need it full enough to keep things ticking over. Which it looks like it is. You're at 70. You're at 100. Okay, so it's going to be... It's going to be interesting once these guys actually manage to catch up a bit more. Because it seems like we were not making our production quota, which means we might have more that we're going to be making when it comes to all of these. I suppose that's just something I'm going to have to wait and see on. But it's, like I say, it's interesting to do it as that closed loop. I don't normally like it, because you can see how easy it is to get it wrong, and it's got to try and keep itself perfectly balanced. Otherwise it all goes Pete-tong. Either by running out of water and not keeping itself going, or by flooding itself and then it locks because the guys at the output end can't get any water out. So, yeah, right. That production still seems to be going up, which is good. Why do you have an amber light? because I've not touched anything over here. Why did you drop to 98%? Why did that water drop? I do not understand that. Okay. Meanwhile, checking on these guys. Their percentages are climbing. That seems okay, though I worry it increased slightly. That's fine being under sort of yellow with amber ones, because that's not actually running at full speed. Right. This was 690 before. What are we now? Less. Okay. Brilliant. Fine. And then we're now at 700 there. Either way, we've still done pretty blinking well, I think. And we're just going to have to see how that unfolds when we get back over the other side. But either way, I'm going to wrap up here and say, as usual, likes, comments, subscriptions, they'll help the channel grow, they help get it out in front of other people. So thank you very much to those that do that. Thank you very much to my YouTube channel members. Your support is very much appreciated. Please don't forget that as a channel member, you do gain access to the save files for any of the open world games I'm currently playing, as well as early access to the videos, so you get to see what's going on before anybody else does. But other than that, thank you all very much for joining me today. I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you all next time.